traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. We're going to pull up the euro dollar. Well, I got the euro dollar here. Let's pull up the bias chart. So let's go ahead and get through these charts really fast. Stand by for a second. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, I guess I want to before we go actually into the euro dollar, notice how the euro dollar is pulling back a little bit. This is probably due to the market bouncing. If we get a bounce in equities today, which I think is doable, especially with that divergence you saw in relative strength on the E-mini futures and all the other things that I showed you as far as the peso goes and the yen goes. It suggests that the market's going to bounce here. But if we do, one of the things that's going to happen is the euro dollar is going to pull back, and so if the euro dollar pulls back, that means it's also creating some pretty key resistance here. So let's take this line here and let's just put it right here so I don't have to get a new one. Oops, shoot. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of this fib because we don't need that right now. We noted that the 618 stalled us. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. Let's remove this. Let's remove that. But I got to ask you guys this question. Anybody buy, and if you were listening on the Lunch Money webinar yesterday, yeah, Jan, thank you for the ECB minutes. Some members saw no action needed at the December policy meeting. Some members called for 20-point basis cut at December meeting. ECB account shows some members argued for more stimulus in December. There's a lot of back and forth obviously happening. But thank you, Jan. Appreciate that. This is the ECB minutes being released. But how many of you guys bought the Euro Canadian yesterday during the Lunch Money webinar? Anybody buy the Euro Canadian yesterday? During the Lunch Money webinar, when we were at right here at 155.20 or so when I bought it. I sold it literally at like 156. Well, 156. I made like 70 pips. So wherever right through here, I already got out of it. And the thing is I was hoping we'd get up to 160. Is really where I was hoping we'd get up to. I was hoping we'd get up to 160, 127% extension. It's a downsloping trend line on the weekly chart. I mean, this is a massive, massive. I was hoping we'd just get up here. Whoops, not that far. I was hoping we'd get up here, it, but oh God, the euro dollar is reversing, isn't it? So anyway, I guess the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I just want to let you guys know that I'm already out. I got out yesterday, just scalp, boop, boop, in and out, but it did go a lot higher, actually. But you see the euro dollar is pulling back from the, now what I think is going to be significant resistance for today is 109.50, okay? Looks to me that we're, in a decent range. As you guys know, if we get up towards the 110 to 110.50 level, that's where I'm really looking to short the euro dollar. I just don't know if we're going to get up there. This rejection from the 109.50 level has got me wondering if that's even going to happen. 1.0950, okay. That's going to be pretty key resistance for today. Bias, we're still in a range. All right, let's go take a look at where support might be. To 109.50 here, and support. And the euro's dropping pretty freaking rapidly, isn't it? Yes, it is. Wow. Dropping fast. Very fast. Very fast, my friends. Okay, we should find support. Let's figure that out exactly where that's going to be. Sorry, I'm just keeping my eyes on the market at the moment. We're at a 38% retracement. A 618 comes in right here at 108.50. That should be some pretty good support today. So if you want to be a buyer of the euro, like if you think the market's going to be risk off, you might want to wait till we get to 108, 108.50. Okay. Let's take a look at the pound. So, and by the way, the euro pound, what a rally, huh? We rallied to 76 pence today. Obviously, we got a little bit of a rejection here, so I got to figure out why. Oh, wait, hold on. That might be the reason why. It's been an awesome move. The problem is it's setting up a little bit of a reversal here. Hold on. We didn't quite hit the 127% extension. We were on our way up there. Then the Bank of England, rate decision actually turned the corner there for the cable. But let's go over the pound. The pound's been beat the hell up. So if the pound, ooh, wait a second. Is that a, not really close though, bullish engulfing candle? It's pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. That might be a bullish engulfing 4-hour candle here. Now I know your charts may be a little different than mine, depending on if you're a European trader, your closing prices, but mine suggests that that's a bullish engulfing pattern. So anyway, resistance here. 145, 143.50 is support. I think those are the numbers we wrote down yesterday, but I think they are key. 143.50 and 145. Okay, if we break that 145, we're going to get a squeeze. It is bearish, as you guys know. It is a bearish trend. Okay, it's a very bearish trend, but we could be setting up for a reversal. Ahmad said, yeah, the euro pound's dropping hard. It sure is. The euro pound, I mean, it's a great pickup the other day at 74 or 50. I had a bid in below that. I never got triggered, and I missed the move up on the euro pound, this last move up. But I think the euro pound's great. You just want to buy it on dips versus, you want to be looking to sell these rallies. I know there's a couple people that I know that are long the euro pound. You got to sell into the strength and then, just buy it on the dips. So if it dips back down towards 75 pence, I'll probably be looking to be a buyer the next day or two. Anyway, so here's the pound. Let's go over to the Swissy. Now, I did buy the Swissy this morning. Why? Because it hit a 38% retracement. Nidish from Singapore, who's in our chat room, he had alerted me to where we were at, and I bought it down here. So I picked it up at 1.002. My average is 2.2. So I picked it up, and I have every intention of buying a little bit more when we get down to the 618. It's not a very big position, but you'll notice that the Swissy, the Swissy, let me get rid of this. We don't need that now. And the Swissy here is, has the potential, in my opinion, to drop all the way down to 99.70, and that's where I really would like to buy some more. If you guys don't know what I'm doing what we call a Fibonacci fade, but that conversation is for another day. So 99.70, support right here is where ultimately I'd like to buy some more, but we already are finding support at the 38% retracement, right? Resistance is 1.0020, 1.0120, which, as you guys know, is major resistance. 1.0120, which is major resistance. I doubt we're going to make it up there today, but there's a Swissy. Dollar Canadian's coming down nicely. Thank you very much. I'm happy about that. Really nice tweet, Vikram. I don't know if he's listening in right now, but that was really nice. Let's take a look at the dollar yen. So the dollar yen, like I had mentioned earlier, is divergent from the fall in the S&P. So when we're watching the S&P, the S&P is getting a little bit of a boost here. I mean, we're bouncing just a bit. You got to watch the yen, because man, if the yen breaks like this resistance here, it's probably going to rip pretty hard, I would think, and we'll squeeze. The biggest deal that I've seen is that the dollar yen is just not selling off. It's not selling off with equities. So if equities do make that turn, we're probably going to see a turn in the yen too. So I think we might be looking at something that looks like this. Okay, so if we break through 118.30, you just got to start looking that the dollar yen is going to bounce, and I hope it bounces back. I know you guys know this, but I hope it bounces back to 120, because I'm a seller. If we can get to 120, I'm all over it. All right. Okay. Dollar yen. Oops, we're in bearish trend. Sorry, bearish trend. And let's see where support is. Support is going to be right here. Obviously, it's the overnight low, which will be 117.30. And if we break through 117.30, which will be the overnight lows in the dollar yen, then that to me suggests that the stock market's ready to, continue lower, or, continue that downside move. Let's go over to the dollar Canadian. Alan asked, am I still short the dollar Canadian? I am. I have actually considered buying more Canadian currency this morning, but because remember, 2 days ago I reduced my Canadian exposure. I had a short small dollar Canadian, short small Euro Canadian, Pound Canadian, New Zealand Canadian. I took my Euro Canadian, Pound Canadian, and New Zealand Canadian off the table, and I made some decent money, because my Euro Canadian was, or my Pound Canadian was, a really nice trade. Euro Canadian, I lost a little bit. New Zealand Canadian was basically flat. So I reduced my Canadian exposure. Now I'm at a point that I can actually add to my dollar Canadian short if I feel comfortable. The thing is I was hoping for a move above 144 to short some more. I don't know if we're going to get that. I don't know if we're going to get that. Okay. So um, support right now, 143. That's going to be pretty key support for today. 144 is resistance. It is a very strong uptrend, as you guys know. So fading this one, you just have to know it's counter trend. Got to be really small size. 144 and 0.4440 is, I think, big resistance, which is the 261% extension right here, just so you know. It is bullish. Let's take a look at the Kiwi. So the Kiwi, as stocks have been under pressure, the Kiwi had been under pressure. Now we finally broke that 65-cent level. Here's your daily chart. We broke that 65-cent level. God, what a mess. Let's get rid of this stuff really quick. Let me delete that, delete that. Let's delete this. I just need to remove some of this stuff. We are at horizontal support, right? What a critical support level this 64 and a quarter is. 0.6425. Really, really critical support. You can see we're bouncing from there. I mean, look, I'm not going to buy the Kiwi. It's just because I'm not interested in buying Kiwi dollars. I actually think the Kiwi is bearish. So I'll stay short the Kiwi through the Aussie New Zealand. But if you want to take a counter trend trade and like manage your risk right now, you can trade the Kiwi to the long side. Just put your stops below today's lows. Okay. And maybe look for a bounce back, you know, to 65 cents. This is, you know, we could probably just move that right over here because that's really where the next, that sell zone is going to be at now. Okay. Again, I'm not trading the Kiwi on the long side, but if you're trading the Kiwi on the long side, I think this is, that's your risk. You know, and then, like I always tell you, the only thing you can do as a trader is really manage your risk. So as long as you're managing your risk, you know, if you decide to trade counter trend, well, you know where your risk is. You know, that's really the one control that you have as a trader is knowing that. So anyway, 65 cents is key resistance on the way back. And if you want to short the Kiwi, that's probably a better place to be on the short side. And we're in a range, but we are threatening to turn bearish here with the Kiwi. Really. Okay. Aussie dollar. Held that support. Obviously, we've been highlighting this area for a while. Really critical support at 69 cents. The low here, 69.09. Today's low, 69. Shit, I'm going to go long. I have to. All right. I'm long the Aussie with stops below 68. I'm going to put my stop in right now. My stop is going below 68, like 82 or something like that. I mean, that's a little deep, but that's fine. I'm looking for a bounce at least back to 70 cents. Okay. So, but I think we could probably bounce even more than that, especially with risk appetite bouncing. Your stop is, or your support is 69 cents. Huge support. Okay. That's realistically, some really good resistance up here. Because look, let's say today is the low. Today, right, is the low. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's a 38% retracement up at 70.70 right there. But resistance today is going to be back at 70 cents. We're at the very bottom end of the range, like today, the very bottom end. So I bought some Aussie dollar here. God, it feels weird. It feels so strange. I'll be back in a few minutes. When I come back, we'll do the dollar, the peso, all that fun stuff. Don't go anywhere. Alan says last evening the Aussie employment was a little weak, but not bad. Remember, it was actually better than expected. Australia was supposed to lose 11,000 jobs. They only lost 1,000. Also keep in mind the last two previous, jobs reports were better than expected, a lot better than expected. So the Australian employment picture is not that bad. Anyway, I'll be back in a little bit. So don't go anywhere. Back in a few minutes. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. Let's go take a look actually at the dollar index. Let's get over here really fast. Hey, before I go to the dollar index, I happen to be on the DAX, and before I leave you here at the DAX, take a look at this. I know there's a lot of European traders on here. That's why and a lot of you guys trade the DAX. So I guess I'm going to point this out just because. So, whoops, damn it, that's not what I want to do. Okay, so here's like a 4-hour chart. You notice we hit here. Let me delete a couple things, just a couple quick things. All right, so here, delete that, and maybe we'll zoom in just a little further. Okay, here we go. All right, now check this out. So we are at that 786 retracement. Notice how we hit a new trend low, but look at that wick that the DAX is leaving. I wouldn't be short the DAX here. I mean, with the S&P trying to find a bottom, this is it's just another example of divergence where, if the S&P really bottoms, I mean, you could theoretically be long the DAX with stops below the lows and then, look for a move higher, at least a bounce, it might take you back to these levels, okay? Again, it's just an observation. I don't trade the DAX. I'm not long the DAX. I just, something you might think about, especially for those of you that trade it. Okay, let's take a look at the dollar index. Sorry, gotta get off Twitter here. Here's the dollar index, and there is. Check this out. Look at that support. How well that's holding, huh? And how probably well it's going to hold even on a dip. So let's delete this fib. You can see the 786 held, right? So we can delete that now. And look at this dip down toward, we're not even getting close to support. We're just bouncing again. 98.45. That's going to be pretty key. So we're just going to write down that number. And how it looks like we're contained until, okay, so I'm just guessing here. This is going to contain, damn it, this is going to contain us for today. Tomorrow being Friday, and we have CPI data. What do we have tomorrow? We have we have PPI, retail sales. So my guess, just again, is a guess. My guess is this triangle here contains us, and then retail sales and producer prices actually break us out of this triangle tomorrow. Okay, that's just my 2 cents. 98.50, 99.20, 98.50, 99.20, we've been waiting for we've been waiting for the end of the week's data all week. There hasn't been crap for data releases for us here in the U.S. So maybe the dollar is actually waiting for that to give us that breakout. Let's go to, okay, so there's the dollar index, peso. So you guys know I'm short some dollar peso already. I think as long as we get a bounce in risk, the dollar peso, should stay capped at the 18 peso level. Okay. Support. You notice how we're still and I mean, we're holding the 38% retracement on the dips because we made it post, okay, right there. So we're not even dipping to the 38%, but notice how we're making higher lows still, regardless, which, honestly, I have to pay attention to because I'm short, and so what this is doing is it's building a wedge, whether I like it or not. I don't like it that it's building a wedge here, but it is. I have to. It's not what I want to hear, being that I'm fading this upside resistance. But you guys can see that 1780 is going to hold as support. 1780. So now, if we break 1780 to the downside, that'll be obviously pretty good for me and for anybody else who's short. But it is. I'm trading counter trend. There's no doubt about it. Okay, let's take a look at the Norwegian krona. We got to keep an eye on the Norwegian krona, and I know I've made mention of this the last couple of days, but look at the divergence here as crude oil did not break new lows, or tried to break new lows. The U.S. dollar Norwegian krona didn't. We're holding support really well, so what we have to do is we have to note this low. This low right here is important, 879. If this breaks, probably means that the crude oil market is bouncing. There's big options expiring today at $30 later today. I have heard. Just FYI. What price was that? 8.79. 8.7900. Okay, really key support. Obviously, resistance is at 9. Really, it's very strong uptrend in the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona. Okay, I'm short a little bit, but I know it's counter trend, and I really want to step up my position, but this needs to break 879, and I don't think the Swedish krona is doing anything. You know what else I want to take a real quick look at while I've got you guys here? It's not doing anything. Let's take a look at some of the emerging market currencies really fast. So let's take a look at the South African rand. I mean, holy Moses. Look at that thing. I mean, how are you supposed to chart that? Wait, hold on. Let me stop here for a second. I mean, 261% extension will be way the hell up here. I mean, that's crazy. Let's go over to a hourly. Let me reset this. I mean, it isn't doing much anything, but I'd venture to guess that the rand probably is one of those currencies that if the market starts to rally, I'm assuming it probably pull back a little bit, but this has got to be really key support here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that either. Let's grab this. Yeah. And that was hell of a move. Okay. USD BRL. Haven't looked at the Brazilian real in quite some time. Interesting how the real hasn't hit new lows against the dollar recently. That's interesting. Okay. Let me take a look at the zloty. Okay. Savannah said you should look at the US dollar IDR after the bombing. Yeah, wow, crazy. All right. Okay. All right. Just thought I'd take a real quick look at some of those exotics. Let me take some questions. Here is your bias chart, just so it's done and you guys have it. Let me go back over some of your questions.